In this video, we're going to apply Pareto efficiency as we look at public choice arguments from constitutional to post-constitutional phases. So, for example, let's take a look at one person, Ann, who will be on our x-axis, and Tim, who will be on our y-axis. And this is their utility frontier. This is the best they can do. In the state of nature, they start at point A. So this is the state of nature. There are no rules. They predate on each other. They're constantly having to fight stock resources, and they're not doing productive things that would make them both better off. And therefore, they want to move somewhere in this direction. They want to move into the Northeast, and in doing so, they have to have some sort of cooperation and collaborative efforts. Now, we could look at this more than two people, but it's easier to start with just two people. So anywhere in that Northeast quadrant along this area here towards the red line on this curve would make both of them better off. And so they get together and they create a constitution. They create a set of meta rules to help them understand how to deal with the day-to-day rules. And here is their move to that meta constitution. They move from point A to point B, and we call this the constitutional phase. This would be the constitutional phase. This is where they set up a system of rules that will guide them in their next move into the market and non-market exchanges. And what they want to do again is move into this Northeast quadrant to some degree. And then, they don't have to necessarily go to the actual frontier, but as close as they can makes them both better off. And that's what they're trying to do. And they do this again through market exchange and non-market exchange. One is producing oranges, the other produces apples, and they trade. That would be a market exchange. Non-market exchange is they both come together, or especially when you're talking about a group of more people, they come together in order to work in their best interests. For example, using David Hume's example of two farmers living adjacent to each other and they need to drain a meadow, they come together and they work together to achieve that, and both are made better off. And in doing so, they move to this point here, to point C, and now both are better off. And so through the constitutional phase and then the post-constitutional phase, that would be market transactions and other non-market transactions, they've been able to move from A to B and then from B to point C, and both are made better off. Notice now that they would not have agreed to anything had they moved farther down from point A, say to a place below the dashed line to the right of point A, or to the left of that dashed line going up from point A. Both parties have to perceive themselves as going to be better off from their joint collaboration, or they wouldn't do it. And so that's why this idea of a constitutional phase takes us to point B. It's beyond. Both would have agreed to these changes because both are made better off. And then from B to C, through these market exchanges and non-market exchanges, they're both made better off. So this is what we would look at with Pareto superior moves based on setting up efficient rules of the game.